Week 4 of the fantasy football season. Here's a few tight ends I looked at off the wire this week. The first one, Cole Kmet of the Chicago Bears. So Cole Kmet coming into the year was the 4th or 5th option, but things have changed now for the Chicago Bear team. Keenan Allen, we know he's down with injury. DeAndre Swift and the whole running game as a whole hasn't done much for this Chicago Bear team. And they've pretty much been trailing a lot of these ball games. But Cole Kmet and Caleb Williams finally got on the same page. Caleb looked a little bit better, even though he did hold on to the football a lot. Make some bad decisions in that loss at the Indianapolis Colts. But anytime a tight end goes out there, has a performance like Kmet, 10 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown on 11 targets, you go out there and try to make a move for Cole Kmet, especially at this tight end position where Sam Laporta got banged up in Week 3 versus the Cardinals. And also Trey McBride banged up in the same game versus Detroit, evaluated for a concussion. So right now, Cole Kmet out there in 60% of fantasy leagues, and he's definitely a tight end you should go out there and get this week. The next tight end, Mike Gesicki of the Cincinnati Bengals. Gesicki, the first 2 weeks of the season, it's been intriguing for him, and tonight he plays the Washington Commanders, where I think he could go out there, have a good ball game. Gesicki available in 61% of fantasy leagues. In the first 2 weeks, Week 1 versus New England, 3 catches, 18 yards, had a touchdown called back, and then a week later, they said they should have never overturned the touchdown with the officials, but obviously too late. And then Week 2, a big game at the Chiefs, 7 catches, 91 yards on 9 targets. I know T. Higgins, he's returning in this ball game here tonight for the Cincinnati Bengal team, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Gesicki still could work the middle of the field. Joe Burrow, we know he's a great quarterback and spreads the football out to all his options in the passing game. And this week with a good matchup versus the Commanders and then a good matchup at the Panthers in the next couple weeks here, he's definitely a tight end that would go out there and add. Like I said, Gesicki's always had that upside, but never got consistent role and consistent targets. But I believe he's a decent option that's going to get consistency with Cincinnati. The next tight end, Noah Fant of the Seattle Seahawks. Noah Fant, I know he's been the 4th or 5th option the last couple seasons since he got traded to Seattle in the Russell Wilson deal. But he's a tight end that we know has got good hands, and he's a good route runner. And Week 3 was his best game of the year. 6 catches, 60 yards in that one. Available in 71% of fantasy leagues. Like I said, he's still going to be behind DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and the Jigba as someone getting work and targets for the Seattle Seahawks team. But like I said, with the tight end position underwhelming this season, and now possible injuries to Trey McBride, Sam Laporta, and also Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely not doing much over the last couple weeks. If you want to take a shot on Noah Fant in deeper leagues, I wouldn't be opposed to it. And like I said, if someone has a highlight game at the tight end position, I'm going to put him on the waiver wire list weekly. So available, like I said, in 71% of fantasy leagues. Next tight end's Cade Otton of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Cade Otton, he's been on and off the waiver wire list over the last couple seasons. There's some games he'll go out there and have good games, and then games he disappears and he doesn't do much. Is Otton, but in Week 3 was his best game of the season versus the Broncos. 7 catches, 47 yards, a fumble loss, 8 targets. They took out Mike Evans, and for the most part, Chris Godwin didn't do much as well in the ball game for Tampa Bay. So Cade Otton's a big target, a red zone target as well. I believe he could be at times for this Tampa Bay Buck team, but he's more of a deeper league ad. Is Cade Otton? But like I said, the tight end position is definitely shaky this season, and Otton's available in 84% of fantasy leagues. And the final tight end I looked at off the wire is Tyler Conklin of the New York Jets. So the Jets finally got the tight end involved, and we know Aaron Rodgers throughout his career, he'll get the tight end involved, and then at times he won't. So Conklin available in 86% of fantasy leagues, and his best game easily of the season. 5 catches, 93 yards on 6 targets. In the next couple weeks, decent matchups coming up for Conklin as well, with a matchup versus the Denver Broncos coming to MetLife. And then Week 5 in Minnesota in London, where their defense has been played good, no doubt about it. But I think Conklin versus former team could go out there in a couple weeks and have a good game. So right now, like I said, Aaron Rodgers still getting this offense under him, getting his legs under him as well after missing all last season, only playing 4 snaps before he tore the Achilles as Aaron Rodgers. And Tyler Conklin could be a decent part of this New York Jet offense, available in 86% of fantasy leagues. That's a few tight ends I looked at off the wire for Week 4 of the fantasy football season.